Hi, I'm Jennifer from Shabby Fabrics. Today I'm going to show you how to miter a piano key border quilt. If you've ever done a quilt with the piano keys, sometimes those corners can be a little bit tender, and so I want to show you how to manage that. This is a beautiful, fun panel, and we just simply added the strip pack from the Follow the Sun collection, and now we have a cute little quilt. It's just perfect for summertime. So once you have your sides put on, first off, if you're not familiar with mitering, what we're going to be doing is in the corner, we want to have this come together on a 45-degree angle like that, so that everything looks beautiful in the corners. And there's very specific techniques that I want to show you today that will give you the desired results. The first thing that whenever you want to make sure that the piano keys are the same length. If you have anything that's off, and sometimes that's happened to me as well, I may have sewn a seam allowance too narrow, too wide, that ended up these strips were not the same length. You must adjust that. You need to have these be the same length or this process can't work out. So that's definitely step one with your piano key border. And if you're wondering, how do I adjust it once it's sewn together? You may find that you might need to take a seam out. This is of course before you've sewn this onto the quilt, and you adjust that strip to be either a less of a seam allowance or more, so that you get your strips to be the same length. Once you've accomplished that, you will go ahead and sew all 4 piano key borders onto your quilt, making sure that you start a 1/4 inch away from the corners. Now I already have another mitered corner video that I've recorded on YouTube. And by the way, I encourage you just to subscribe. That way, and also once you subscribe, there's a little bell. Click on the bell, and that way you'll always see our new videos. But I want to encourage you to watch the other video as well, because I talked more about where you begin stitching your piano key, your borders on, and it's a 1/4 inch away from that corner, a 1/4 inch away, and this side and a 1/4 inch away from the top. That's where you'll begin sewing your borders on, and you sew all 4 corners or all 4 borders on, and so you kind of have these waving out here. What makes it easy with a piano key border is you have every 2 inches you have another visual check, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Once you get your sewn on here, where you want them, what's important is these seams in this corner in this instance, we press these up. If that's the case, the ones here need to be pressed in the opposite direction. That's so that when you bring these together, and this is how you do a miter, you simply bring these together, folding that the way that I did. Now they will nest, just like you're used to in quilting. You know how when you sew rows of patchwork together, the top row may be pressed to the left and the next row pressed to the right so that they interlock. That's what we've done here. So once you figure out your strips and you get them sewn onto your quilt, then you can go ahead and make sure that those seams are pressed opposite. And I'm going to go ahead and start stitching, or start actually just pinning here, because I can already see this is going to line up beautifully. I'm going to lock that one in right there, and I'm going to pin. I'm going to pin all kinds of places, except where I'll be stitching. So I'm going to try to keep my pins out of there. And another interlocking one right here. Put that down there. Now I'm just going to make sure everything is still stacked beautifully on top of each other. The quilt is smooth, there's no bubbles here. And now I'm going to get my big ruler. I just want to make sure in fact, I'm going to turn this way. The reason that I did that is I have a 45-degree line right here, and I want that 45-degree line to line up right along my borders, and I'm lined up right here. Everything looks beautiful. turn that flap down. Let me do that real quick. Let me line up one more time. Take your time with miters. I would rather take the time in prepping it so that when I do start sewing, I nail it versus having to seam rip. Now I can feel these seams are interlocked really well. I'm going to have to move that pin right there. Put your pins in a position that you don't have to move them when you sew your project together. When you sew your borders on, you don't want to move. Now, right there is where I want to stop this. It's easier for you to see on the black. See that place? That's where I want to stop. So let's go ahead and take it to the sewing machine. Just sew directly on that line. And I'm going to stop needle down and just kind of very gently move the fabric so I don't disturb anything. Okay. So once you do a miter, if you've ever done a miter, you always know you want to check it before you start cutting anything away. I've definitely had to, mostly because it kind of slipped, I've definitely had to seam rip miters and do them again. And I was so glad I hadn't cut it. So let's see how we did. We came together in every single one of our points. Once we know we've done that, first off, good job. We followed all of the pressing alternating seams. We have interlocking seams. We used our ruler and our 45-degree line to line up. Everything looks good. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to trim a 1/4 inch away, and we'll take this to our pressing mat. And we're going to go ahead and press that seam nice and open. Just like that. And we're going to get a good look at that one more time. Well, I mean, we cut it, so this happened, but I just want to show you how great that does come out. Let's look at that. We hit our points exactly in every single place. So that's all there is to mitering a piano key border. If you liked our video, we'd love to get thumbs up, and again, be sure to subscribe.